Today on Real Pilates, as we continue to discover the spine, we're going to talk about what the definition of good alignment is. So we know that the spine is a series of bones, vertebra and disc, that are stacked on top of each other. There's the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar. We don't talk too much about the sacroiliac and coccyx bone right now. We will later. So these different vertebrae with their discs. When you have an alignment, because we know that everyone's curves of their spine are unique and different, but yet each neck has the proper curve amount for that neck. And that can be assessed by someone like me or a professional that knows anatomy and that knows bones and placement, a doctor, someone that's a really good chiropractic licensed person, maybe if they're good, will be able to tell you. The importance of having an aligned spine, and the definition of that is when your spine is aligned, the vertebra and the discs sit stacked on top of each other, kind of like poker chips. So we know that the disc is round, but the disc has a thickness. I want you to think of like a fat poker chip that's squishy. When your discs are healthy, they're plump, they're springy, the gel fluid in them that's gel-like is nice and dense, and it's springy. And this is one of the reasons that I'm always stressing hydration. When you don't hydrate enough during the day, you start to deplete the springiness of all the tissues and all the organs in the body. Hydration is explicitly critical for the discs so that they stay nice and plump. That's the obvious. Movement is something else, because remember, the synovial fluid, which is not as thick as the disc gel that's in the nucleus, but all of the synovial fluid and gel-like substances in the body get their nutrition from movement. Complete, balanced ranges of movement that give positive stress to the disc so that the body gets movement to give nutrition to that disc and to that joint. You may notice that people, as they're older, wake up in the morning and they have maybe stiffness in their fingers, their joints. That's because at night, when they're not moving, that joint is not getting the same amount of nutrition as it does during the day. And as you age, yes, everything slows down and the healing process slows down. And this is why once you pass 20, my sunflower, you're clinically starting to age. And it's important that you do all ranges of motion in a complete and balanced way and in a sequenced way so that you keep all the discs healthy. If you do one kind of movement only, let's say you just, he's a runner and all he does is run and he's loading the spine from top and bottom as you run. And if you don't do anything else, then your disc is gonna start to compress. It's just what I call TITS, time in the saddle. You need to make sure that the time that your body has in movement is diversified. So that means that you need to do flexion, forward bending, back bending, side bending from all sides, and rotation, and varied combination in varied relationships to gravity. Because one movement, the same movement seated, is different when you're laying on your back, is different if you're laying on your side, if you're laying on your stomach, if you're seated with your legs out in front of you, if you're seated with one leg out in front of you, with your legs wide, with your legs narrow. Are they turned out? Are they parallel? All of those factors change the way that the stress affects the disc and the vertebra. And it's important to have stress, but it must be positive stress. So I don't want to overcomplicate things for you, but I want you to understand how divine and how fabulous your body is and how important it is for your body to have full ranges of motion so that the discs stay plump and even all around. If you have movement that constantly squeezes one side of the disc, that side becomes desiccated or drier. And you'll see people that sit a lot when they go for a check, an MRI to see the disc health, which is soft tissue health, you will see that they have compressed discs. The good news is it's never too late to start moving gently and correctly so that you start to plump up and put some energy back into that disc and at very minimum arrest the deterioration and the shrinkage of the discs. I'm 70 years old this year, and I can tell you that I am clinically 2 inches taller than I was when I was 20, because I was 4 feet 10 and I'm now 5 feet tall, and I've been 5 feet tall consistently. So that is one measure besides MRIs and scans that I know that my discs have not shrank and contracted. And my wish for you is the same. I want you to live, 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 live. And when you're 250 years old, all of a sudden just have a happy death without suffering, without disc shrinkage or any other horrible things. This is Pilates Master Nikki. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you real soon for another layer of real Pilates.